All right, folks. Good afternoon, YouTube. Back with another live feed. I'm gonna make this a shorter one today. I'm not gonna stand here for 2 hours. I got things to do. So today we are talking about Oceaneva watches. I'm gonna give it a few minutes, let a few people join the chat. Then I'm gonna showcase. I'm gonna give you guys, well, not really a showcase. I'm going to basically just share with you guys four different Oceaneva watches and then two Aqua watches. And basically, Aqua and Oceaneva are owned by the same guy, right? Same company. There's slight differences between both these brands, I would say. And I actually have another Oceaneva, no, excuse me, I have another Aqua watch that I forgot to get, but we'll just kind of leave it at that today. I just want to see how many people we actually get in the chat. Sometimes these live videos are really kind of hit or miss. Just depends. So we'll just give it a few minutes and see if we can get some folks in here. Otherwise, a lot of times when I do these videos, I kind of expect them to be viewed on the, like later on. People kind of watch them on the rerun, basically. So we'll see. It's always nice when we get people in here kind of asking questions and kind of reacting live, but no big deal. We'll just see who we get. We got one person in the chat now. Like, what I like to do is anytime we start one of these live feeds, is just if you feel comfortable, identify yourself. Let me know who's in here. A lot of the guys who pop into these live feeds are usually the guys who watch me often, so it's pretty cool to see them in here. We got two people in the room right now. Like I said earlier, if you are watching this on a rerun, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit at the beginning. Just kind of click forward a little bit. Today I have 6 watches here I'm going to share with you folks, and 4 by Oceaneva and 2 by Aqua. So we had 2 people in the room and then they dropped off. So I'm just going to kind of begin here. Not every day. It's just really hit or miss on who we actually get in these live feeds. So if you pop in here halfway through, great. If not, I'm just going to continue on. So today I got, again, we'll start with the Oceaneva watches. Now, Oceaneva is a micro-brand company. In the past, when I reviewed these, I would refer to them as like making homage watches. And I think I was incorrect in saying that. I feel like I'm guilty of that as well. Whenever anybody sees a watch that kind of resembles a Rolex Submariner, it becomes a homage. And let's face it, a Rolex Submariner is not really I say this loosely, it's not super unique, right? It's a round, basic, like everyday case watch, round dial, round bezel, 3-link bracelet. It's nothing really, it's a very conservative watch, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, not knocking any. I have tons of homage watches in my lineup. I wear them often. I enjoy them. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy every watch that I own and wear, whether it's a big 70 millimeter Invicta or a smaller 42 millimeter conservative size. They all have a time and a place where I enjoy wearing them, and usually when I don't wear a watch, because I kind of forget about it. So but I don't think it's fair to call these homage watches. And it does have a Rolex Submariner style, right? But I say that, again, loosely because Rolex didn't invent that style. There was brands before Rolex came out that had a round, watches are generally round for the most part. I mean, there's a lot of different ones out there. I get it. But for the most part, I think most are round, right? And so I don't think that these are homage watches. They're just round, basic 3-link bracelet watches that are giving you a ton of quality and a ton of specs for really what I think, arguably, I think hands down one of the best values out there. If you're looking for tool watches, and tool watches, that's kind of in the watch snobbery world, you get a lot of like folks using catchphrases: workhorse movement, luxury brand, fashion watch, right? Designer watch. And again, tool watch. And I think what people mean by a tool watch is a watch that basically you can use, right? You can go diving with it. And I think most watches can kind of be considered tool watches. But I think when folks really refer to tool watches in this community, it's really referring to watches that are going to hold up to use. And I don't think that's really fair a lot of times, because even a $69 watch can hold up to use. It really depends on what you're using it for. I have $20 watches that I got off AliExpress that, I can dunk in the water, I can wear, abuse, and they still hold up. So it just depends on how long something may last. And really, there's no guarantees with any of that. If you are going to put your life in the hands of a watch, then of course I would trust something like this, an Oceaneva brand Rolex over an Invicta, over a Pagani design, right? But it doesn't mean that watch still can't be utilized for, use purposes, right? So I just think a lot of these kind of phrases and these kind of names kind of get tossed around rather loosely a lot of times, because that's what sells, right? So, but I do understand, if I am going to label something a tool watch, and I had to pick, which one do you consider a tool watch over an Oceaneva or a Pagani or an Invicta? I'm always going to say the Oceaneva, because I just feel like Oceaneva watches, they put a little more into the purpose of a dive watch, and that is to dive, right? They want them pressure tested, and I believe they do that in a lot of their models. I don't know specifically which ones. I can't guarantee that, but they do kind of pride themselves on making a watch you're going to be able to use it, right? So, and Lennon, hey man, I appreciate you're the only person in here right now. So I will come back to that question. I have a bunch of Sterling reviews. I have a bunch of Sterling watches. I think they're okay, but that's a really great example. A Sterling watch I wouldn't consider really being a watch you'd want to put to use, wear it. Again, they are water resistant, right? But if I have to trust my life with a watch, and this will never happen if I'm a diver, and most folks use dive computers, but if just to use this kind of scenario, then I would trust a brand like this over a Sterling. But I have many Sterlings. I enjoy them. I don't think the Sterling level of quality is anywhere near Oceaneva, though, just based on a few experiences I've had with them and just the feel. And I'm always going to go back to the way something feels. And generally Sterling watches, a lot of them, not saying all of them, will use kind of like their generic kind of no-name branded Chinese movements. Nothing wrong with those, not knocking those. Again, I enjoy them, I wear them, but this you're getting a little more under the hood, right? So let's start off. Again, only one person in here, so I was hoping for more folks in here today, but I'm just going to go with it. So what's the difference between the Oceaneva? Let me just show you a couple watches. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of Aqua here. So here's one Aqua. Now, forgive me, I'm going to forget the names on some of these, but I'm just going to show them to you anyway. And it's not really focusing in here. What the hell's going on? There we go. There's an Aqua. And of course, we have another Aqua. I was going to show you all these real quick first, and we're going to kind of come back to them. Of course, now we're going to jump into Oceaneva. Great looking piece. It's a great looking watch too. I love that aquamarine. Having a hard time focusing today here. I'm not sure what's going on with my camera here. See if I can get it to focus on the side. There we go. So as the reflection on the crystal kind of messes with the lens. And the final Oceaneva in my lineup, the newest creation, their Damascus steel. I think this is a deep marine too. All right, so let me just come into this one here. So this is their, and I'm gonna have to, you bear with me here. I'm gonna have to pull up let me just pull up their website real quick so I don't give you guys any misinformation here. Remember, this live is really informal. I kind of got the idea in doing this because another YouTuber is super popular. I don't know if you've ever checked out his channel, Philion. He does kind of like, I guess they're called commentaries, I think. And I really enjoy watching his stuff. He just kind of like nonchalantly talks and kind of does what I'm doing. So these videos don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be all edited. And you guys know I've never really been one for editing videos, but just really informal. All right, so sorry, let me drag these across a couple monitors here. All right. So in their lineup, and they do have a new watch out called the Ocean Trek, a new one for them. It's more of like a dress/dive watch. Very cool. Let me just try to find their watches here. I wish you can look at, I don't think you can look at all watches at once, but I think this one is the GMT 1250. Let me just double check. All right, so no, it's not. Which one is this watch? Unless they're sold out on this one here. GMT automatic watches. There it is. Okay, so this is their Again, the Oceaneva Men's GMT 1250 meter dive watch, available in several different color variations. I think this one is really cool. It's like that blue and silver with a white face. I like that they have that GMT hand, that bright yellow. Again, they have many different color options. With the Oceaneva line, you get little differences, or the Oceaneva brand, you get little differences. I'm not going to say in quality, but really in movement and depth rating. That's what I found to be the biggest differences between a watch like this. This is going for that $750 price point right now. Amazing specs on these. Again, this one here is powered. I'm going to give you guys the main stuff. It is powered by Seiko NH34. I'm not going to get involved in, some of the like jewels and all that stuff. Just kind of give you guys the basics. We do have 316 stainless steel in the case. We do have a screw down crown with triple seal to meet that 1250 meters of depth rating. And then, of course, we have a anti-reflective dome sapphire crystal. It says here 4.8 millimeters thick, sealed with a 1.4 millimeter by 0.4 millimeter eye ring to ensure water tightness. So this is kind of where they kind of dive into, pun intended, more of the more like those real specs that you're looking for in a watch. A lot of companies wouldn't even mention that about, it's hard enough to get some brands to even mention the movement name in there. A lot, like I joke about this all the time. Nubeo watches, a lot of times just put, Japanese automatic 3 hands with date. It's like, we want to know the movement. That's what's important to guys who are, really anybody looking to buy a watch. So with Oceaneva, you know that you're getting incredible branded, well-known movements. If you're not familiar with an NH34 or 5, any of the NH series movements are well-respected brand name movements. When we jump into something like the, let's go with another GMT here. This is one of their newer releases, and this one, I really enjoy this one here. This is a titanium GMT. And I think, when I choose the color of these, I kind of pick, I picked the one that kind of speaks to me. And I absolutely love this one here. This kind of like, titanium always has a different finish. It's not quite as bright. It's more of like a darker kind of finish. Although I have seen, God, man, I've been wearing the hell out of this. I got a lot of scratches in this. I wear a lot of these watches to work, and my job is sort of physical. So it's, I think sometimes, I think if you buy a watch, these are sent to me by Oceaneva, right? These are collaboration agreements. So it's a little different for me. I actually really need to stop wearing this at work because I am scratching the living shit out of this. And I don't want to purposely scratch a watch, even though they are meant to be used, right? Like I said earlier, they're tool watches. You can put them up to the test, and on camera it doesn't really look. You can see there's some scratches. It's not bad. Like, you don't look at it and say, "Wow, that watch is super scratched up." But I really don't need to wear a nice watch when I'm working. I can wear one of my less expensive ones because the price point of these is $849, right? You will get 10% off using my coupon code in the description, but still, you kind of want to. I don't know. I take pretty good care of my stuff. But I shouldn't wear it. All right, so what do you get with this one? So you are getting titanium, and they do. Oceaneva is going to give you every bit of information about their watches that you're going to want, right? They're not just going to hit you with, hey, this is an NH35 and stainless steel and call it a day. Like, they're going to tell you very specific information. The weight, the case size, the case thickness. The depth rating on this is 4,100 feet. Insane depth rating. Just like the other watch I just showed you. These are very similar watches. They're really the same watch, but one is done in that titanium. The other one is 316 stainless steel. And we actually have, whoops, hang on a second here. There we go. And, a little bit difference in finishing. Of course, the standard stainless steel version has that mirror polishing down the center. More of a dressier kind of look. God, man, I really got to stop wearing. Well, hey, this is why we buy. This is why I don't buy watches, but they're meant to be used. Other differences on these two is that one has screws. The titanium actually has screws holding the links together, and the other one has pins. Again, I don't think one is better than another. Some people have a preference on these, but they both do the job. Get this to focus. This is focusing on my face here. There we go. Two great looking. I love the white on white. It's just a really great look. All right, so those are the GMTs that I have. And again, I'm not going to dive too much into all the specifications. They listed out on info, movement, case, dial, crystal, bracelet, and features, and they definitely put Again, a lot of information. If there's any question a person would have, if you're a watch guy and you are, look for specs on watches. Me, I'm a little more laid back. I'm like, oh, cool, it's an Invicta. I like it. Great. I know the quality is good. I'm going to buy it, right? With other brands, I do want to know that it's stainless steel, 316. And I talk about my check boxes in almost every video I do. Do you like it? Number one checkbox. 2, what is it made out of? Is it 316 stainless steel? Great. Is it titanium? Cool. I don't do gold and all. It's very expensive. I just couldn't rationalize spending that $40,000 for a watch, something I'm never going to do, right? I'm not rich like that. I'd have to be extremely well off to rationalize a solid gold watch. So for my budget and my lifestyle, stainless steel is all I really need. I like gold plated watches as well. They hold up fantastic. Anybody who's like, oh, gold comes off. No, it doesn't. They're very durable nowadays. The plating techniques have gotten, they're light years ahead of what they were in the 80s. So it's not really something to worry about. And for the guys who just popped in the chat room here, Razor said, hello, what's up, my man? Robert. Robert's awesome. Robert's super generous with Phatkat Collections. And it's always nice when he pops into the chat. So he just said, hi, Phatkat, interesting info on the watches. And he likes the t-shirt. Yeah, man, Walmart. Can't beat the Kiss shirts. I love their graphic tees, like $8.99. That's my style. So, but getting back to the watches, those are really 2 similar watches with a price difference of about $100. You're getting insane depth ratings. You're getting, great quality movement. And I think the titanium version also is the NH34. Really, I've said it many times, if you're buying a watch and it has an NH series movement, it's really all you need. But if you want to kind of step up a little bit, and I think that as we start to add more and more watches to our collection, sorry, folks, I'm going to turn this fan on. If you guys think that this is too loud, just let me know if you guys hear anything here, because I've been overheating. I don't know if I got a touch of something or what, but I have just been overheating the last 3 days. It sucks because I have 5 days off and I felt like shit the last 5 days. Anyway, so back to the watches, of course. I think a lot of times, if you're going to look at a higher end movement, even a luxury brand, it's not like these NH series movements are like, I'm late to work every day. Oh man, I keep coming back from break late. I need a more accurate watch, because its accuracy is really important to you. Just get a quartz watch. If you love automatic watches, you're like, I need 100% amazing accuracy. I just don't know if it's really cool, man. Thanks, Robert. I just don't really know how important that is, because if your primary reason is actually, again, you just get like a Casio G-Shock. And I don't think that even a higher end automatic movement is not going to give you the accuracy a quartz G-Shock will, right? So I don't know. I think it's kind of a straw man argument, if I'm using that term correctly, because they're all pretty accurate. But my reasoning, this is kind of where I come from when it comes to collecting watches. When I'm looking at other movements, really when I look at a movement that has a Salida or a Valjoux, I'm really interested because I just like to have a variety in my collection. It doesn't really make any difference on the day-to-day wear or the day-to-day functionality. It still tells time. If you are obsessive like me and you have multiple 400 plus watches, then you're generally going to wear your watches a few days, maybe a week, maybe a day, maybe a few hours, and switch it up, right? And so usually when I do that with an automatic watch, I got to reset it anyway. So I'm always resetting it. And even when I set a watch, to be honest with you, I kind of glance at the time and I set it. And sometimes I might be a minute off. So for me personally, I'm not too interested in a watch being super accurate. It's kind of meaningless. I like the idea with automatic because it's like a little engine in there, I like the mechanics behind it. And I dig not having to worry about the batteries. But I can go both ways on those movements, right? It can be quartz, it can be automatic, but I'll always gravitate. If I had to choose, if a watch came out and says, hey, we have a quartz model or we have an automatic and they're the same price, what are you going to choose? It's going to be automatic, right? I think most people would, right? But again, getting back to movement, why do I want a Salida then? Why would I want a higher end movement? Really just to have. I don't know. There's an element of, there's a consensus. And I can't tell you specifically why, right? Because I'm not a watch. I don't build watches. I'm not a repair guy. I don't know about the mechanics of a watch. My skill set's very minimal. I just like them. But I think one could argue that a Salida is a better movement or an ETA is a better movement than an NH series. Why it is, I really can't tell you that or articulate that. Because at the end of the day, the thing that the only thing that I really care about is it reasonably accurate? And they all are. So I guess if you were to put them on a time grapher, maybe the Sleeta is more accurate, but I just don't know. So to me, it's kind of a waste of money, but it doesn't mean I don't want it, right? And I do get an element of pride when I have one. It's an element of, hey, this is supposedly a better movement. So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. And I guess I can kind of relate to some folks, even like Rolex. They're like, oh, I'm getting this super refined watch, which I don't. That can be argued. There's no question. I'm not a Rolex hater by any means. I just would never rationalize what it costs for one, for what you're actually getting, unless I was like, hey, I want that name. And then I understand why you have to kind of pay to play. But so bringing us to the next tier, we'll call it. This one here is a gorgeous watch. And I am kind of bugging Oceaneva for them to send me their Deep Marine Explorer 3. It's their highest priced watch. But this one here is a close second. And this is their, where is it here? Deep Marine Explorer 2. So this one here, I love this watch. I really do. Let me just click the right one here. All right, so this one's going to run you $1,000 right now. Phatkat Collections coupon, save $100. This is, I call this Techno Marine or Aquamarine, the color. It's obviously mother of pearl, but it has this beautiful like aqua color, and it really pops on the wrist. I love the way this looks. I love the way this feels. And the depth rating on this is still 1,250 meters, but what you are getting is I believe this one has a Sleeta in it. Yeah, so this has the Sleeta SW200. So again, a more superior movement, but it's nice to have, right? I mean, and so when I do wear this, if a watch person were to ask me about it, basically with somebody who knows about watches, let me try to explain this the best I can. When somebody were to know about watches, say, hey, what are you wearing? Hey, I'm wearing an Oceaneva, right? I got to tell you, though, let me just digress for a second. It is interesting how scratched up a lot of these watches are, which really just goes to show you, of all the watches I have, these are getting a lot of wrist time. I'd say these are getting more wrist time than my Invictus. I know Invicta folks, I'm sorry, but, now I kind of wear the Invictus if I'm kind of like going to a casino or want something loud. But these are generally my normal wear watches, right? And I love them all, don't get me wrong. But the Oceaneva, I don't know. This is a very brand's close to my heart. I love this brand. All right, so again, let me just come back to sorry me to keep a consistent theme here on these videos, kind of ramble on, but so this one here, we were still getting a depth rating. So why is this watch $900, right? Why is this $1,000? And the other ones are $758. So really the movement is what's really making the difference here. When we look at the build quality, let's go with the non-titanium one. Very similar, almost identical in bracelet. I'd say in the case, I think these two watches are very similar. The Sleeta is the Deep Marine 2, a little thinner, not quite as thick. You can see that NH30, the NH series is a fatter movement, so they have to make the watch fatter. These are things that aren't really important to me, but they are to some folks. Some folks don't want that tall wrist presence. I like both these. They both feel incredible. They are very similar watches, but the real difference is, again, cosmetics, right? One's got that. And this, anybody can go either way with this. Some folks might like the blue and silver more. This, some folks might not like this. I think the only change I would make on this is having a similar color bezel insert to kind of take that color all the way out. But it's cool either way. White would look awesome on this, a white bezel insert. But the black is still fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not knocking this watch by any means. I love these two watches. But the only difference is the movement. That's it. You're getting a Sleeta in this for, what is it? Almost a couple $100 more, $150 more. Is that right? No, about $250 more. It depending, depending if you use a coupon code or not. But so that's really the only reason to step up to buy this, that you want the Sleeta. And so getting back to the sophistication here, I think when I'm wearing a watch and, nobody really says anything about my watch. I don't see a lot of people every day. So, but I have had positions in the past where I dealt with thousands of people every single day. And people were always, every day it was like somebody, hey, I like your watch, or what kind of watch is that? So those conversations happened a lot more. I do get an element of kind of pride when somebody says, "Oh, say what is that?" And I'm like, "An Oceaneva." If they do know anything about watches, they're like, "What kind of movement?" It's like, "Oh, Salida." It definitely kind of steps up your game a little bit. Is the best way to describe that. It really shouldn't because it still tells time like any other watch. But I hope I made sense there. That's kind of I think a lot of times in the watch community, people have to rationalize what they're selling. Like, and again, if you like these watches, and I encourage you to buy one. If you're looking for a watch, throw the Seiko out the window. Don't even bother. Get one of these. You will be happier comparing those two side by side. Not saying the Seiko is bad at all, but you get a lot of bang for your buck with this brand. And I think though, I can't. If you use my link, it is a commission link, right? I do get commission. So thank you if you use it. But what I'm trying to say is that if you buy the $1,000 watch through my link, I'm going to make more money off that watch. My little commission I get is going to be higher than if you buy the cheaper one. But I would only encourage you. It'd be like me sitting and telling you, "Oh, Salida's superior movement," and really selling you on this. And I'm just not going to do that ever. I'm just going to keep it real. And for me personally, the only reason why you would choose this watch over the other one is for this color option and that you want the name Salida, right? That's it. You just want a little bit more of a sophisticated movement in your watch and that you love this color. There's other colors that maybe this isn't the one you might just fall in love with, then I would say pay more and get this one. But if you don't, if you're not concerned with having the Salida movement and you're not concerned with whatever that may get you, then they're comparable watches and you should save $250 and get the other one. Now, if you want that titanium, of course, get this one. This one here, I don't think they have the Deep Marine 2. I get kind of confused on the names on these things here. What do they actually call this one? They just consider it a Deep Marine Explorer. So, and I forget what I mentioned earlier, but these are very similar as well. So if you want titanium, get this. Now, let me hit you with the last one. Now, this is my favorite release by Oceaneva. This is going to be hard to top. This is their new Damascus steel. They've layered German 304 and 316 stainless steel and made this badass looking watch. I mean, it is just absolutely incredible. Damascus steel face, Damascus steel bezel. Now, I did put the Aragon bracelet on it, and I know, shame on me, it did come with, I think it's FMK rubber, a great quality rubber strap with a beautiful Damascus steel buckle. Try to get this to focus here. There we go. But I just feel like, when it comes to rubber, I just always feel like I'm wearing a G-Shock. Nothing wrong with it. Love G-Shock, on a watch like this. Here's what I got here. A Superstar watch, right? I mean, fine. It's a very flashy watch, whatever. But on something like this, more of a conservative watch, black rubber, just to me, I prefer bracelet. And I hope that this company, Oceaneva, pay attention. I'd really like I'd like to see them do a Damascus steel bracelet. 3-link standard bracelet. I don't know why they didn't do that on this. If it's a manufacturing reason, just charge more, but I really hope they do that because I think it would really, Damascus is so beautiful. It would be really nice. You don't see it as much on this, right? You kind of have to really look at it and kind of, get that side shot. Get this to focus. There we go. So I'm trying to look at my monitor where I can see what you guys are seeing and the camera screen here. Just make sure everything's in focus here. Because Lord knows I waited 10 years before upgrading my camera. So I want you guys to get the best shots. Sorry it took so long. And I thank Oceaneva for that. They were like, "Hey, we'll send you to Damascus, but you need to get a new camera." So I spent $500 and got a new camera in order to get this watch. And I'm really glad they told me to do that because it is, the new videos are a lot more enjoyable. You can actually see the watch now before everything's out of focus, even though this camera is taking a little bit to focus today. Maybe it's more overheating like me. But, I mean, it's an incredible looking piece. So if you do like this look, this is an Aragon bracelet. I do think Aragon makes some incredible, affordable, high-quality bracelets if one was bothered by the branding on this. I mean, you have an Oceaneva watch and an Aragon bracelet. One could grind that off of there. But I don't – it's not a big deal to me. But it would be pretty cool to have an actual Oceaneva bracelet in Damascus. I hope they do something like that because that would really take this out. I'm really trying to push this here. Oceaneva, pay attention. I'm really trying to get them to do something like that. But it's an incredible watch. So why would you go with the Damascus watch, right? Let me just pull up the spec sheet on this here. So this one is available with the black face, the white face with the white rubber strap, and of course this one. And I originally wanted the white, and he ended up sending me this particular one. And I was to be honest with you, I was a little disappointed at first, and until I got it, and I was like, I'm really glad it worked out that way because this one you have the full Damascus face, and it really. That's why you're buying this watch, for that Damascus look. And so it's really nice to see that Damascus across the biggest part of the watch, the face. And so it worked out great. I would like to get my hands on the white one as well, but probably not going to send me two. But it is a beautiful watch no matter which one you go with. The white one has a great, fresh, summery look. And I feel like the white, if you are going to go with rubber, I just feel like the white is a little bit, I don't know, it kind of it makes it a little more flashy, very summery. I dig it. Now, Damascus, right? So that's the main selling feature of this. But this is what's incredible on this watch here. This one here is powered by a Salida, and the price on this thing is only $399. Throw my coupon on there, you're getting it for $360. I don't know where you can get. I mean, putting Damascus aside, I don't know where you could get a Salida-driven watch of this spec, of these specs. I think this is still 1,250 meters. I think. Let me just double check that. Yeah, you're still getting 1,200. You're still getting that huge depth rating. I mean, you're getting sapphire crystal. You're getting I don't see any reason to go with anything else when it comes to the specs you're getting on this particular watch. And I don't know why the price is so low on them. $399. I mean, go again, use my coupon code 360. If you don't like the bracelet, you can get a bracelet of your choosing. You don't have to go with the Shark Mesh by Aragon. They have other ones. But, you can get $40 and get a nice stainless steel bracelet. A watch like this, I wouldn't go to AliExpress and get like a cheapie. There is a difference in quality there. But you can. I mean, it's not the end of the world. But I think that a watch like this definitely, getting the watch so cheap, it definitely deserves a nicer quality bracelet. And this one here is really rock bottom for pricing on bracelets. I mean, $40. It is a great bracelet, and it looks. I mean, Shark Mesh is always known for it has a very dive watch kind of vibe, and I totally dig it. So, I mean, definitely some incredible watches. Now, let me just go over to Oceaneva, or not Oceaneva, Aqua. Aqua is their other brand. Now, there is a difference in the Aqua quality compared to Oceaneva. These are kind of they're cheaper, of course, but they're still incredible watches. You're still getting 316 stainless steel, but they'll do an exhibition window on the back. These are more, I'd say, you can still dive with them, but I'd say these are less tool watches and more fashion watches. And that doesn't mean that these aren't great quality. But when you feel the bracelet on one of these, they are very similar. But the Oceaneva is wider, right? It has a wider bracelet on it. Still very nice. They're both very similar, but the clasp is a difference here. On the Aqua, you have this sort of get the focus. There we go. You have that big bold trident. It is a milled. Oh no, it's not. It's a stamp clasp on. Actually, hang on a second. All right, sorry. So on the Aqua, you're getting a stamped clasp as opposed to a nice milled clasp. Both are functional. Both do the exact same thing, but one just has a little bit more of a refined look, minus all the dirt on these. Like I said, I wear the hell out of my watches. So that's a difference there. Again, a little bit thinner on the links, just by a little bit. Exhibition window, I feel, is cool to look at, but if you're gonna really want to watch be, kind of be durable, and you can't really be a stainless steel screw-on case back as opposed to a exhibition window. But they both work, right? I just think it's another point of failure potentially. No helium release valve on this, so that's something you'll find on the other brand, right, on Oceaneva. But still a great looking piece. I mean, still a very nice looking watch. Just a little more affordable, a little less for the guy who's interested in those specs. And the movement on this, I think, is a Miyota. Then we go over to their other variation here. This is one of their newer releases. And I like this one a lot. But again, you have stamped clasp, bracelet, still a very nice bracelet. Not as thick as the Aragon. a little thinner, mirror polished, different, but I love the case on this. And this is a great looking kind of, well, it's sort of angular compared to the best way to describe this here. It's a lot more angular. Let's see if I can get this to, I don't know what, I need to get this to focus better here. There we go. So very unique. I think this is a very unique timepiece. And then you have that sort of like, angular bezel on it. And I think this one is powered by a Miyota. Is this one the Miyota? Hang on a second here. Yeah, Miyota automatic. I'm reading that. It's really hard to see. No, I think actually I should just pull up the spec sheet, but let me just look at that real quick. Sorry, guys. Bear with me here for a second. And I have another Aqua. I have the 1769. And I have another one I forgot. I don't know what I have. I have the Trade Winds quartz as well. Where is this friggin' watch? All right, so even these are still $650, but they're not on sale. But $650 for the Pepsi bezel, and this is powered by a. What is it powered by? Yeah, Japanese Miyota, 8N2421 joules. Still a fantastic quality movement, and they're even pressure testing some of these watches as well. So I don't want to make it sound like you can't die with these and they're not toolish watches, but I'm trying to describe the difference between the brands here the best way I can. And I feel like just you're getting a little bit more quality when it comes to and I don't mean that to say that these are low quality, just you're getting a little bit of a step up when it comes to the Oceaneva brand compared to the Aqua. But still a reputable automatic movement, just a little bit of the corners cut with the bracelet, which is not a big deal. Now, this one here is sold out. The other one, this is called the Oceaneva High Metal. I think I'm saying that right. And this color is sold out, but you might be able to get some of the other ones. $649. And this one also uses an NH35. So it gets a little more complicated, right? So now you're saying, well, what would make me spend more money on the Oceaneva? To me, here's the best way I can describe this. The Aqua watches, I would not pay $685 for this watch. Not when you can get for $700 in Oceaneva. There's going to be a noticeable, tangible quality difference when you hold the two of them in your hand. Not just looking at the spec sheet. You can feel there is a difference. It just feels like a more robust watch. And it's probably because of a little more weight. Weight doesn't always determine quality, because if you pick up the titanium version, this is lighter than the Aqua, but it still feels a little more refined. I think it's just the bezel action, the way they did the bezel. Can't really pinpoint it, but this is why I have a problem when you look at luxury brands. You say, okay, well, what am I paying for when you look at like a Rolex compared to something like this or something like this? There is not, the differences are always going to be very, very subtle. Whereas these two, it is subtle. Nobody's going to pick this up, especially due to the weight being lighter, and say, oh man, this Aqua is so much, this is terrible compared to this Oceaneva. It's just not, we're not being honest if we say that. So my point is, they're both fine watches. They're both fantastic, but I think that you just get a little more bang for your buck with Oceaneva. You definitely get, again, the helium release valves. You definitely get a watch that's a little bit more robust, is the best way I can describe the difference. And I just think that your pricing is incredible. Now, I know that the Oceanum that was on sale when it first released, I think it was in the $2s. So again, you have to be kind of a smart shopper and kind of strike when the iron's hot when you see something you like. Because what I found that Oceaneva and Aqua do is they'll do a release, they'll sell it for a certain price, and then once the stock on their watches starts to drop to a certain point, that price jumps up, and then they just kind of slow down the sales. So I think it's definitely a brand that you have to kind of follow, and I encourage you to click the link in the description. Even if you don't buy one now, go there and just sign up for their mailing list. Get on the list so you can always see what's going on with their brand. It's a company, whether you choose the Oceaneva or Aqua, that is to be reckoned with. I like the two brands, but I think their primary focus is the Oceaneva line or the Oceaneva brand as opposed to the Aqua. But that shouldn't dissuade you either way. If you find one of their watches, and I just want to see if there's anything on sale right now. I do have another. I forgot. I have another one. I have the bronze. Damn. I have the bronze one. I can't believe I forgot about that. See, this is the problem when you have too many watches. I don't even know what I own. Yeah, I have the bronze, standard bronze. I have to wear that today. I'm actually a little taken back. I forgot about this. So I have the trade winds. Here's my lineup of Aqua. In case you guys, see something you like, you're like, oh, I wish you had that one. I can give you some more information. I had the Oceanum, I had the trade winds, I have the skeleton, and I have the bronze. And I have the 1769 Miota. The only ones I don't have are the 1769 ETA, the Cave Diver, and the bronze exotic dials, which I'm going to have to email them and get my hands on one. But no matter which one you go with, they are incredible quality. And I happen to think that the bronze dials, honestly, the one that I have is the bronze one on with, what do I have? Tiger Eye? I think I have the Tiger Eye one. I'm like a freaking kid. I'm like a child. I can't even finish this video without like wanting to run to my watch box and wear something today. Whatever. Never lose your childish I don't know, fun, whatever. Fuck it. But getting back to that watch, I feel like when I hold that watch, that it's on Oceaneva quality level. So you kind of have to take each watch, no matter what brand you're looking at, kind of give it a fair shake, and just don't think because, like, if you're an Invicta lover, don't think that if you have a Sub-Aqua Noma 5 that you're going to go buy that, $200 Invicta that you see on sale you like, that's going to be the same quality. Their quality is all over the place. It's always different. So give each watch a fair shake. Look at the specs on each watch and just make the best judgment for you, the best choice for you. But I can wholeheartedly tell you, no matter which brand, no matter which model you go with or which brand, you will get a quality watch and you'll be extremely happy. I think somebody's at my door. Fucking everybody's always bothering me. Maybe left alone. So anyway, folks, do you guys have any questions? Let me catch up with the comment section here. Robert said, I agree. I wouldn't buy a watch for the brand. Absolutely. Hang on, folks. Give me a second here, all right? We just can't cut and edit this out. I just got to check something real quick here. Because I don't like when people just randomly show up when my garage is open. Sorry, folks. This motherfucker. Driving around with a flag on the back of his bike. Hang on. Bear with me a second here. Where's this guy going? I guess it is that time of year. Folks are going around campaigning, I guess. Still, man, don't show up. I'm doing shit. Anyway, folks, all right, let me get back to these. Len just said, Lens goes deep. He's been in the chat before. He just said Oceaneva is a brand to be proud of. Absolutely, man. And, I've done a couple of videos about Oceaneva and how, like, I think it was Seiko that kind of came after them because they were using the name Seiko on their website. Even though they're using a Seiko NH35 movement or NH34 movement, Seiko brands like that, this is competition for a lot of those mainstream brands. Because a lot of brands, and I've said it many times, are kind of living off their name recognition. And granted, sometimes I get why they would. Seiko is a very well-respected brand. It's been around for a very long time. I'm not knocking Seiko at all. But what I am stating is that when you look at a Seiko, what do we got? A Seiko, I'm drawing a blank here. The Captain Willard, right? It's like $1,500. If you look at a Steel Dive homage to that watch, it's every bit as nice. But why would you pay $1,500 then? So you have the authentic, right? So you have like the Captain Willard, the one worn in the movie. And so that'd be the only reason why you'd want to even go with the actual brand. Because if you're just looking for quality, you're getting an NH35. So what it's not like you're getting like when we talk about these movements here, Sellita or Seiko or NH35. What are you really getting? It's going to make any difference in the real world, like actual usage. It doesn't really make any sense to spend more for something with the idea that you're getting something more. Really what you're getting is the name. And again, there are things that make it, there are probably reasons why it's better, but is it going to, it's like you're looking for a car, right? And, I always like to use car analogies. You're looking at a car and you're like, all right, well, I'm going to buy this Honda Civic. I just need to get to my work, right? Or you're looking at like the $100,000 Corvette. Like they both do the same thing. One's going to get you there, one can potentially get you there faster, but can you drive it on the open road like that, right? So it's like, yeah, one is faster. One does have more bells and whistles, but it's something that's going to actually mean anything for your normal day-to-day usage. So I don't know. I hope that made sense. So I just don't think spending a lot of money for a watch with the expectation that you have to, I think some people are like, oh man, and this is the argument with Rolex. People are like, the watch snobs are like, oh man, I got to spend $10,000. You can't get that. This is a shitter compared to that. And that's simply just not true, right? Rolex is going to be more refined, absolutely. But is that really going to, the fact that the bracelet's more refined or the movement on the inside, we take the case back off, you going to see that? You going to pull the case back off and show it off? No. Those extra couple seconds, it may be more accurate per month. Is that going to do anything? Not really. Are you still showing up for work at the same time? Yeah. The bracelet, you flip it over, maybe more refined where you can take it off and stare at it. I just don't see the rationale and why you'd want to spend that much for a watch. But at the end of the day, if it makes you happy, that's really all that matters. I just don't want somebody telling me that my watches are a piece of dog shit because I didn't spend $10,000 for them. It's just not true. So always buy what you like, buy what makes you happy, and just folks, don't be delusional. That's my biggest thing. Don't be friggin' delusional when it comes to quality you get across brands of watches. Robert said, nice camera, very clear. I know, man. I'm really glad Oceaneva forced me to do that because I guarantee you I would not have done it. I would not have bought a new camera. And I'm so stubborn like that. I just would not have bought one. And now that I have it, like this, I bought the Sony ZF something. It does record in 4K, but not on a live stream. On a live stream like this, we're only doing 720. Maybe I go 1080. I just haven't messed with the settings. But it doesn't make a difference. What the big difference is not necessarily the video clarity. It's the fact that the camera can focus properly. Where my other camera it was always grainy. It's always blurry. So I'm looking at this on the second monitor here, and I think it looks great. Like it's zooming in properly. It works like a camera is supposed to work. So yeah. What else here? Robert said, what do you mean with specs? The depth water rating? A little more clarification there, man. I'm not sure what you mean. Robert said, no problem. I'd be worried too. And cool, man. What's up, man? He says, how do your watches stand looks like? I don't know what you mean, man. How do your watches stand looks like? Oh, watch stand? Like storage? I don't really display anything. They all go, I shove them in my safe. I have multiple safes, so I like to keep them locked up. We call, I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable having my watches out in the open. I have a couple like cheapies, but for the most part, watches are locked up. I guess I kind of prepare for the crackhead. Generally a person looking to break into somebody's house. I like to layer security, alarm systems, cameras, neighbors, action plans, infrared sensors, lots of things to safes. So let's say somebody does break in, they're gonna have to contend with a safe they're not gonna be able to get into, and that prevents things that even though a watch like this, for instance, it doesn't have tons of value, right? It was a $300 watch. Get it to focus here. This is the Watchstar watches. You can see I gotta fix it, of course. But, this watch is sentimental to me, like a lot of them. I can't replace this watch. So I don't want it. Even if somebody were to say to me, hey, man, I'll buy that watch for you for $1,000, I wouldn't sell it, and that's kind of my problem. Like, I don't buy watches with this idea that, like, I can flip them. Like, a lot of people buy a Rolex and they put it in the safe and they don't touch it. And that's fine if you want to try to, I don't know, risk a little money investing in watches. And it's not a guarantee with anything. I have Invictas that I paid, $100 for and sold for $2, so you can make money with anything really. Getting it low, selling high is, basic sales, right? That's how you make money with anything. So, but even if this watch cost me, I think I got it for maybe $2. The owner of the company, I think he gave me cost on it. I honestly don't remember, but if I threw this on eBay, I could probably get, $4 for it, but there's no way. Like, I just don't want to, I like it. And that's the problem with a lot of my watches. Very rarely do I sell anything. every watch I have here didn't cost me anything. And sure, if I, sometimes if I have a watch that absolutely does not get worn, and it's really like a collaboration agreement, something I just don't really, I don't want to say like, because I like them all, but something that's very similar to what I already have, I may sell it. But generally, that's the only reason, the only way I would sell something like these. I just wouldn't sell because I just like them in my collection. And so I think that's kind of the part of the fun that I have with watches, is having something new and unique. Granted, if I'm going to put a watch on, because I have so many, like this Aqua is probably the one that gets the least amount of wrist time of any of the Oceaneva / Aqua branded watches. Not that I don't like it, not that I don't, I have to be kind of in that Pepsi mood. And it's not one that I don't really like the Pepsi ones all that much, or not. I got my dad a Spinnaker Pepsi, and he loves it, right? He likes so much. He took my yellow one too, which is great, But for me, I'm not a huge this isn't my color that I really go to. But that doesn't mean I don't want one in my collection. If I ever am in the mood for wearing the Pepsi kind of bezel, this is my go-to. This is the one I wear. But I just don't want to sell it, and that's just kind of the fun, I think. When you collect watches, there's so many people out there that take this way too seriously, and I'm guilty of. I guess let me give you a little bit about me here. I'm kind of one of those guys that, like, if you don't have anything nice, I don't say anything at all. If a guy came on here with a Rolex and says, I absolutely love my Rolex, like, I'm not going to be like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I would never do that. I think that whatever you like is what you should wear. And that doesn't mean like just hold with watches. That could be whatever you like whatever you like in a car you drive. However you want to decorate your home, do it. I'm not going to knock somebody for their own style. I think it's part of the problem with the world is people are always interjecting their own opinions into what other people like. And it's in YouTube, that's the thing. On YouTube, when you do videos, you're kind of opening yourself up for people to give their comments. But I don't know. It's still just, I still will never understand it. And we're all, human beings are guilty. Like, I will state that I see something sometimes and I have to actually kind of stop myself from saying something. I'm like, wait a minute, that motherfucker didn't ask you for your opinion. Shut your mouth. So anyway, Rockman, what up, man? He just popped in here. He said, I know it's off subject. What are your thoughts about Wilson Leather store shutting down? I didn't know that. And it's true that they are used to sell leather matching sets for men's and women's. They used to sell leather matching sets. I think that is true. Yeah, that does. So I was I kind of like when we do these chats. It kind of gets the subject off watching a little bit. I have, Mr. What up, man? I actually have, I think 6 or 7 Wilson leather jackets. I think I showcased a few of them in a really poor, crummy, dark video a couple years ago. Kind of did a leather jacket haul. I have like 42 leather jackets, something like that, maybe 50. I don't know. I just got a few more. So I am a huge leather fan. I love leather. So Wilson was my go-to back in the 2000s, man. I used to love walking into the mall and going in there. Let me just give you guys, let's take you back a little story here. Back in the Jinko jeans days, the Mr. Rag stores, Zoomies, Anchor Blue with the 30-inch leg opening. I'm going back when I was younger here. We're going back 20 years, right? That was kind of like my style. I used to wear like the big, I don't know if you guys remember the Fast and the Furious. Love that movie. That was a lot of like my younger 20s years was those. I'm a car guy at heart. There's never going to be enough cars. The only reason I don't have another car, I have 4, is because I don't have the room, and my parents are like, you cannot park another car up here. I think I can grind them down eventually, but I would love to either get another Jag. All right, I'm digressing. So let me get back to Wilson Leather. I'm sorry. I just get excited about these different subjects. So Wilson Leather, I used to love going into the like Anchor Blue and popping by Zoomies and always Wilson Leather. And their jackets, I still have them. They're still, who the fuck is this? They're still fantastic condition. I do, once every couple of years, give it a good rub down with a little leather conditioner. But overall, I mean, I haven't done too much to them, and they look great. And this is like, again, the leather snobs. Like, you get people be like, oh, you need a Schultz leather jacket, whatever the fucking brand is, $1,200. It's like, dude, that makes no difference at all. I mean, I have jackets that are $400 that blow away $2,000 jackets, and vice versa. Other jackets that are, like those jackets that are much nicer than my $100 jackets. But Wilson Leather, they're always great. And they did do the men's. I actually had a girlfriend back in the day. I think we got matching leather jackets, something like that. I vaguely remember that. I don't know. I thought it was cool. Good looking couple, but yeah, they did that. And I'm disappointed they're shutting down, but it doesn't surprise me because, the internet's changed everything, as everybody knows. Nowadays, people shop from home, myself included. There's always that say, people always say, support small business, but realistically, none of those stores are small businesses. That's not a mom and pop shop. That's a corporate leather store, and they just can't compete with online sale, right? I wonder if Wilson Leather will still have their websites. I will say I do miss being able to I do miss the process of shopping for clothing. And I do sometimes go to like Walmart and I'll buy I just bought Levi's jeans there the other day. I actually found 4 pairs that fit me really well. I go in waves. Sometimes I'll wear like a skinny jean, and now I haven't been wearing those. I'm back to boot cut. So styles always kind of change. But there is something to be said about being able to try it on and look at yourself and be like, fuck yeah, I'm buying this shit. I'm wearing it today. Sometimes I'll go out to the parking lot and I'm stripping down, putting it on. I can't even wait till I get home. So I'm like a friggin' child. But I miss going to Wilson Leather and slapping on a leather jacket and looking at that sale, on sale for $150 from $199, being like, oh my God, dude, I'm wearing this to the club tonight. And it's going to be hot as fuck in there. And I'm going to sweat my ass off. And I'm still going to wear it because I look fucking fly. Those were fun days, man. So Wilson Leather, that's disappointing. Where I live, there hasn't been a Wilson Leather for many, many years. But I do regret not going in there a little more and trying on jackets. But again, Wilson Leather, their jackets were in that $300 price range. I think last time I was in there or looked at their website, I didn't really see anything that really kind of called out to me. Nothing super unique. And I guess it's harder, just like with the watches, the more you have, the harder it is to be wowed. And so last time I went to their website, I didn't see anything that really kind of wowed me. And for the price, you can get amazing leather jackets on eBay and Amazon, coming from places like India, which is where a lot of these big brand names are getting their jackets made. So it's just ultimately it comes down to price. And you can get amazing leather jacket for $100. I mean, another company I've reviewed in the past, I collaborated with, if you are in the market for quality, and this is where quality is when I look at jackets, I'm not hard to please. $100 jacket I enjoy just as much as a $400 jacket. But I do have Wilson Leather. I have the $100 jackets from eBay. I have the $400 Pretender leather jackets is the brand name. Icon leather jackets that were $650. And they're all nice. I mean, there's always little differences. If you go with buffalo leather, you're going to get a heavy, thick jacket. Cowhide's always great. Lambskin, lighter. It just depends on what I don't always want to wear a Pretender jacket in the fall. It's way too hot. But if you do want super quality Pretender jackets from Ukraine, is amazing. I mean, it is, hands down, one of the nicest ones in my collection, and they're fantastic. But yeah, Wilson, they're good. My only gripe with Wilson was, and this has nothing to do with really them, is a lot of the jackets I have that I really like some really unique ones that I've never seen, by even on eBay or Amazon, they're too big. I don't really like the way they fit. And they're medium. I didn't go with the Jinko style, right? They're medium jackets, but medium back in 2000 is different than a medium of today. And now I like my stuff fitted. And I normally wear a small in a jacket, but since I don't know, since I've been working out the last couple of years, some of those jackets that I got in small, some are perfect. The sizing is never perfect. So some are very tight and a little uncomfortable, when driving, and other ones, in a small fit, perfect. So now generally my point is, I'll go with a medium because the small just fits too tight. But then you have a small and Pretender leathers, which honestly I wish fitted tighter. So it's really, that's kind of the downside, not being able to try something on. But generally, if you buy with Amazon, I like being able to, if there is a doubt, order 2, small and a medium, and then send back the one you're not going to wear, as long as they allow you to do that. But Robert said, let me just catch up on the comments here. Mr. Urban Man, what up, man? He said his area still has a Wilson Leather. Don't know why they shut down. Seems like everything's on their way out. It is, man. Robert said 42 jackets. Good for you. I know. I just did the review the other day. The one you commented on, Robert. Yeah, I'm obsessive. I even reached out again. I was like, I'd like to review a white leather jacket. I have like 4 white leather jackets, and like a whole net. Cowboy guy, what up, man? He says, I think Rockman referring the matching sets with leather pants, leather jackets, same colors, like black and 10 colors that have kids. And yeah, no, I think he meant, I'm not sure what he meant. I thought he meant like matching sets for men and women, but I do remember them having like, I did buy 3 pairs of leather, like suede pants, which, be honest with you, they were never worn. And I sold those a couple of years ago on eBay for like $100 for 3 pairs. I still got a little something back, so it was great, but they were just a little too baggy. And there are still folks who wear baggy stuff. Like everybody's got a different style. So, it is what it is. Somebody got them and probably enjoying them. He said Wilson, he thinks he used to offer made-to-measure services. Yeah, maybe. That's something Pretender does. Like, they actually make the jackets based on your size. But my experience with when I gave them my measurements of the jacket I knew fit me perfect. They ended up sending 2 that said extra large. I was like, dude, I thought these are custom made. Then they did end up saying they remade them, and I got 2 extra ones. I actually sold one to James Perez, actually. He took the extra large and fit him perfect. So I guess we don't really know. I didn't know why there would be a tag if it's custom made. So not really sure. Lens Goes Deep just said, do you have a favorite fall fragrance? No, man. And you probably know this already because I'm obsessed about colognes as well. I have a shit ton. I don't know how many, over 300. And that's like bottles and samples. I don't, again, when you have so many, I don't really have a favorite. But generally, I will, like, some are, I've always said before when it comes to fragrances, you can wear them whenever you want. But there are some that I find would be kind of cloying in the summertime. I don't know. Yeah, I just kind of like some of the leathery ones I tend to hold off till fall and winter. Recent acquisitions. Yeah, what did I get recently? I really like a lot of the Issey Miyake, the Nuit versions. I think they're really one of my favorites. I have like Nuit de Issey. I have Nuit de Issey. Is it Noir? Then the Polaris. So those woodsy kind of fall fragrances. I don't, like I said, I don't really have a favorite, but they all I kind of pick through there and look. Oh yeah, I have this, and I'll wear it. It just depends on what I'm doing. But if I know, like what do I have? A cologne, like a Tuscan leather cologne, like that one I wouldn't wear in hot weather at all. Like that's very cloying. Anybody's a zoologist, like I gotta wear that, and I gotta no one will be outside in winter. Just depends. So not really. Mr. Urban said, I'm going to be honest, TGE quality of clothes today are not high quality as clothes from back in the day. So why not buy from India and China? I don't know, man. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that statement. Oh, it's not like things just started getting made in China. If you pick up a set of Rock Revival jeans at like $180 a pop, people tell me all the time, oh, they're quality jeans. But I'm like, well, I don't think so because the ass ripped out in one of mine, right? And so, my Levi's don't do that. And so I don't know. I don't know. Companies, I think, do start to cheapen things sometimes. It does happen. I think fragrances is a perfect example of that. Back in the 80s, there were a lot of powerhouse fragrances. And so those same fragrances you buy nowadays are definitely watered down. I don't know if that's done because of like mass appeal in the market or I think a lot of times it's always about profit. Anytime a company's got shareholders, it's all about the bottom line and less about quality. But I don't know. I always – what do you buy nowadays that isn't made in China or India? I mean, I don't think there's much you can really find. So I laugh a lot of times when people are talking about, oh, that watch is made in China. It's like, dude, so is your TV, so is your cell phone. Like, I mean, the only reason why we don't have Chinese cars is because I don't know because somebody involved somewhere high up is prevented that from happening. Eventually, maybe someday you'll see that, but I don't know. What do I know? I'm just giving you my opinions. But Mr. Urban says, same with food. Pizza is lower quality. Yeah, man, food is a sore subject for me, dude. I'm like, I can't stand, like, I love Chipotle, but I'm so annoyed. I'll get a burrito. I'll get 2 burritos, the exact same thing, and it's different every single week. Where I actually stopped. Like, I was spending $30 a week there, like clockwork, every Friday, getting my burritos. And they do have good service. Their chatbot Pepper. If you have a complaint, you'll get a free comp burrito. But that's not why, like, I'm doing it. Like, I'm not trying to get free food. I just want it to be consistent. And it's totally different based on who's making it. And who's cooking it. Like, sometimes the peppers and onions aren't cooked as much. Sometimes the seasoning is different. Like, it's just, there's no consistency. So as long as you're going to make a complaint avenue and I'm not happy, I'm going to complain. But I did find a new local place, old school, kind of like Mexican butcher. I've ordered like 2 weeks, I ordered like 6 burritos, and they are the same every single time. Delicious. I don't have to complain. I don't have to ask for anything special. I don't have to ask for extra because you don't put enough on. It is what it is, and it's perfect. And I'm going to get them again today. I'm addicted. So when you find a place that makes quality food, it's usually mom and pop shops, and it's usually people who care, right? I had a complaint recently with like Discount Tire. Like, here's another, I'm done. I'm completely done with Discount Tire. Discount Tire, in my opinion, is, I spent like 13 or 15 grand at Discount Tire with wheels over the years. It was always my go-to. I always talked highly about the company. And now I think for the average person who just goes in and says, hey, I want tires, I don't care what, most people abuse the shit out of their cars anyway. But if you're just going to go and get tires, and fine, use them. But for me, who's meticulous, I have one of my sets of wheels I bought in 2008. They're irreplaceable. They cannot be found. They're discontinued. And that is the whole look of the car. And so it's hard to find people, car guys, who are going to take pride in what they're doing and take care with other people's shit. And so, they will, when they strip a tire off, if you're knowing about chrome wheels, when they strip a tire off, chrome, when you put air under pressure, it creates moisture. And so there's always a little bit of moisture in a tire. And so chrome is not the most durable coating, right? Especially if you live in an area with bad weather, areas that use salt. Chrome is, you see chrome all the time flaking off. And I have a set of $4,000 Antero wheels that I, for years, been looking for somebody to refinish them. It's hard to find people without shipping them off. But anyway, these wheels are irreplaceable. And I went to Discount stating that, hey, here's what I want to do. I know you guys, when you clean the bead, will grind on it with a metal brush, a wire brush. Hence why I believe my Anteras were ruined over the years of having them fix flats. They were aggressive with them. So I said, I don't want you guys doing anything but removing the tire. I will take the wheel home. I want to clean it. I want to scrub the whole wheel. I want to be gentle about cleaning the bead. And they have, their policy is that they will not put tires on your wheels, tires that you buy elsewhere, unless it's load rated for the car. I know we're getting off on tires, but load rated for the car, there's a DOT standard that's stamped on every single tire. And so you take that rating, you look it up on the chart, and it shows you the load rating for each tire. And then you just multiply that times 4, and you look at the weight of the car. And then if it exceeds that, it's safe by DOT standards. That's not how Discount Tire works. Discount Tire now only puts tires on the car that came from the manufacturer. So if you are driving a super lightweight by today's standards Honda Accord, right? Like one of my older ones, that car came with load rated tires that far exceeded the weight of the car. Probably because Honda got a deal on those tires or decided to use them. They didn't need to have that specific load rating. So Discount will not put a set of tires in your car that are not load rated, that came from the manufacturer. It doesn't matter if that's way over the top. That's what they do. And the reason for that is because they want to sell you more expensive tires, right? Usually they have their own brand they don't want you to go to eBay or Amazon and buy inexpensive tires. So the way I've got around that over the years is just say, hey, I understand your policy. Here's my wheels off the car. Here's my tires. Mount and balance them. they're not going on a car. So recently I went in there with 2 of the wheels and they said, hey, this is the story. I've had you guys done this for me before. It's not just for me. That's their policy. They'll put on your tires on your wheels as long as they're not in the car. Well, this little idiot there, I wanted to play detective. And I said, yeah, man, I've been through this before. I know how your policy works here. They're going on a car that I drive 500 miles a year. Here's the originals that have been on there for 20 years and no problems. So a little bitch turned around and then I told him how important it was to be careful with the wheel. And he drags it across the gate of my truck. And so I said, man, you have to be careful. And so that must have pissed him off. So he's like, yeah, I can't mount these. I'm not going to get fired over this. So my point in telling you this is because I will never be back to Discount Tire, no matter how much money I spent there. You had one idiot who decided to make up his own policy, even though that was not Discount Tire policy. The company did reach out after I complained to them. But frankly, I'm just done, So point being, mom and pop store I found locally is fantastic. They took extreme care with my concerns. They worked with me, making 4 trips, taking 2 off, bringing them home, cleaning them, bringing them back. They were exceptional. And that's the place that will get my business. Now, they're not too worried because it's not like I buy wheels all the time. It's not like I'm some big spender with big pockets. Like, I'm not entitled. I'm not asking for anything special. I just want concern and care and somebody to treat my stuff like I have for the last 20 years. And that's why it's still on the road. That's why it still looks as good as the day I got it, because I take care of things. And so if you're not going to, if I take care of my stuff a certain way, I expect you, the guy being paid to do this, to take care of it how I want you to take care of it. And if not, then I'll find somebody else. And getting back to food, that's kind of why these big stores, they just don't give a shit. They pretend like they give a shit, but somebody higher up who's responsible for customer outreach, customer service, really doesn't give a shit either. They just don't. It's just the way it is. So that was a rambled on to a tangent there, but video went from watches to all kinds of subjects. That's usually how these video reviews go, these live feeds. Cool man just said, I remember you mentioned about eBay sellers offer leather jackets. Do you have any recommendation of seller names on eBay so I can link them to description of the video? No, man, I don't allow links in my videos. I link my own links because they're all affiliate links. So my content, my affiliate links. But I don't have anybody specific. I really just go on there. Sorry, but I got to turn this fan up. I'm overheating. Robert, let me know if that's too loud, man. I'll turn it down. But yeah, I mean, I just basically look through eBay, and if I find a seller that has plenty of sales, and it's not like 1 or 2, I'll give them a chance. I usually email them and say, hey, do you have – see, what a lot of times with leather jackets, what they do on eBay is they'll find, like, sometimes they're fake jackets, not fakes, but they're remakes of jackets. So perfect example is my Pretender Stormbringer jacket is only made by Stormbringer. But yet I see folks selling that jacket using Stormbringer pictures on their eBay listings. And what they do is they say, hey, we're selling this jacket. You order it, then they make it. And they don't disclose that. So that's kind of what I always do with a leather jacket on eBay, no matter who it's from, is say, hey, can you send me another picture of the jacket? Or do you have actual picture of the jacket if I suspect it's not really a jacket that they have ready to go? And usually those Indian kind of sellers where they're shipped from India and Pakistan, places like that, are just putting the picture up. They're going to different websites. They're picking whatever jacket they find on Google, listing it, and then they look at the picture and make it. The downside to that is sometimes it doesn't always come out like the picture. So important to ask for pictures. And if they don't do that, then I just don't buy it. But yeah, I'll try to give any seller that has something I'm interested in a fair shot, as long as they provide pictures, as long as it exists. If it doesn't exist, then I won't buy it. There's a few I've been eyeballing, and I just they don't. It's not actually their jacket. They're going to make it, but I have to hope that they make it like the picture, and I'm just not willing to kind of risk that. So the only consistent person that I use, I say that very loosely because I've only ordered one jacket, is my Etsy seller. And so she's having all kinds of problems. I ordered that genuine Python jacket about a year ago. It's perfect. It fits perfect. It looks perfect. The price was like $3, I think. She gave me a little bit of a deal for the video, but normal prices were in the $4 to $5. You get Python leather for under $6. It's a deal. And, I liked it so much I wanted a black one. it's been 6 months, and she keeps telling me, oh, yeah, it's going to be made. It's going to be made. And she's like, oh, how are we going to arrange payment? It's like, well, so I don't know what happened. She's got some kind of problem going on, but I'm not paying for something without actually seeing it. So the moment she finishes the jacket and confirms it exists and she can take payment, not through PayPal direct, through Etsy, great. If she needs payment through PayPal, she's going to send me the jacket first. I'm not doing that. Especially with something like that coming from, I think last time it came from France. So I don't know, but that's the only one I would recommend because the jacket was awesome. But we'll see if she comes through for the second one. I don't know. I'm really hoping as the weather's starting to, well, not yet, but we're getting towards fall, and I want to start wearing these jackets. I want my new Python jacket, but Robert said it's fine. I can't hear the fan. So cool. All right, folks. Well, I went on way longer than I thought I was going to. My whole purpose was showing you guys the Oceaneva and Aqua brand. If you see these watches on the rerun, definitely use my link, use my coupon code, save 10%. Cool thing about my coupon code is it works even when they're on sale. So it's a legit coupon code. You guys will definitely like the quality, the brands. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And this is for you folks who are in the chat room right now. If anybody comes across this video like after the fact when it's not live, drop me a comment. I'll always respond to you. Mr. Irvis said, which video has the Etsy seller? Just Google Phatkat Python leather. You'll find it has a link in there. So anyway, guys, thanks for popping in. I'm glad we got 5 folks in here. It's always cool to be able to it's always flattering for you guys to ask me questions, and it's usually the same dudes in here. So thank you for watching. Thank you for watching Phatkat Collections over the years. If you haven't checked out my new channel, it's going to be watch only. It's called 21 Jewels. Man, I forgot how slow going starting YouTube is, but check it out. It's only going to be about watches. Share it if you can. I don't know how all that works, but I built this channel kind of organically just over time. It takes forever. But 21 Jewels will be same kind of format. The problem is, I don't know if you guys watch Cubano. He's a fragrance reviewer. I was asking him, dude, why is your channel 100,000 subscribers and your views are killing mine? And he says the biggest problem I see with my channel is, and I kind of suspected this, is that because I do all kinds of stuff, YouTube doesn't know who to recommend my content to. So you never know what you're going to get here. Watches, jacket, cologne, smart home tech, cell phone. Like me just talking about nothing, so they don't, I guess the algorithm doesn't know how to really suggest my videos. And that's apparent because when I first started, it was Invicta only, and I got tons of views based on Invicta. So, but I wanted to branch off into other products. And so Phatkat Collection is always going to be a collection of anything I'm into, anything I feel like talking about. But then 21 Jewels is going to be watch only. And mainly I'm doing those views on there or those reviews on there as live feeds only. So I don't know if I'm going to actually upload content, just going to do live. And the reason behind that is I can crack out a video really quick in kind of the same format I do when I'm just making a video with minus a tiny bit of editing. So might as well just keep it raw and real. I got that idea from Philion. Check out his channel. He kind of like talks about fake natties and stuff. He has his primary channel, which is killing it. And his new channel, which is strictly same kind of format, but lots of content almost every day and just talking about other people's videos, but live. So kind of try that, see how it works, and we'll kind of go from there. But do subscribe to 21 Jewels. I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a fantastic evening and take care.